Welcome to Far Insights. I am your host, Fox, and I'm here with Alza and also with Robster. At Far Insights, we do the research where you don't have to, and this is our third episode coming to you live from London. So, for our third episode, we thought we'd do something which might be of interest to everyone in terms of the recent developments that's happening around Saudi Arabia and its Vision 2030 plan. So, what we want to do is probably discuss around the developments and the evolution of the line associated to Saudi Arabia's the Vision 2030 plan. Okay, so we're gonna go probably straight into the overview of the line for Saudi Arabia's 2030 vision. So, so His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman, the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince, he first revealed the designs for the line, which is a futuristic-looking city, back in 2021. So this vision of this city forms part of NEOM, which is one of the kingdom's new innovative way of its nation building mega developments that will probably stretch across 26,000 square kilometers of the desert. So the line has been pitched as a futuristic eco-city, which is the north of the Red Sea. And I think its ambition is that within that development of the line, that they don't want no cars with releasing no carbon emissions. So probably one of the first questions everyone's going to ask is, what is NEOM? So let's have a look at how they kind of present what is NEOM to the world.
I see trees of green, my voice true, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. What a wonderful world.
So the question is, I'm gonna do a round table. Alza, what is NEOM? What do you think it means from that video?
The way I see it is NEOM just looks like a amazing futuristic city, but the best thing about it is in Saudi is because they've got all the money, they've got like a blank canvas. So in terms of vision, they could kind of do whatever they want. But I'm not really convinced with the vision itself. With the because the way I see it is a select group of people which will most likely inhabitate this NEOM. So I can't really get the vision behind it, to be honest. Robster?
Yeah, Robster.
I mean, it looks, from that little short video, it does look amazing. But me personally, I don't think it is realistic. I think with MBS, he said that he wants to get it done by 2030, which is roughly about 7 years' time. Unfortunately, from just looking at that video alone, if it's going to be zero carbon smart city, then we don't have the technology currently to make that. I think this is more of a marketing ploy. I think this is more to show the world how Saudi Arabia has come out of the deserts and is progressing rapidly in social structure, in technological structure. That's what I think is. I think it's just a gimmick to show the world that Saudi Arabia is not what it used to be, and it's progressed.
I think it's achievable. I think it is achievable, but maybe not by 2030, maybe 2050, which probably
Yeah, I
be a
think
more
yeah.
realistic timeline. But
I
definitely, I
think
can't see it happening in 8 years, building that mega city, which is about 170 kilometers long. And it's
172, yeah, something like that.
yeah. So in 8 years, that's yeah, maybe 5 kilometers in 8 years. I could see that being possible,
Yeah.
but not the entire 170 in 8 years. Definitely by 2050. But in terms of, because they've got the money, they've got pretty much all the money in the world, so they can pull off a project like that. And at the same time, the best thing about Saudi Arabia and the Middle East is it's a blank canvas. You've got a desert. There's nothing there. It's just barren land, probably where the line's going through. You know,
Yeah,
it'd
so I
be
think
easier to kind of deploy than a populated city like, you know, in the West.
yeah, absolutely, and I think the way Saudi Arabia has pitched NEOM is to give the world a glimpse in terms of what it might look like, or what it is capable of doing. So I think it's like the new future. Look at us. This is us in Saudi Arabia. We are now moving into the next evolutionary um, um, space of development. You know, we had the previous evolutions, we had the technology evolution, the industrial revolution. Probably now we're going through this AI revolution. They're probably thinking about we are going to be a step ahead for the next one. And I think neom, when you break it down, I think the Greek word neos is defined as new, and was it so yeah, so I think they're kind of leveraging on some of the kind of historical terms as well. So let's look at the actual video which they marketed for the line back in 2021, and after the video I want to get everyone's first thoughts and reactions from it. So yeah, let me share with you the video that was released back in 2021, and I want to get your first thoughts and reaction after the video.
For too long, humanity has existed within dysfunctional and polluted cities that ignore nature. Now, a revolution in civilization is taking place. Imagine a traditional city and consolidating its footprint, designing to protect and enhance nature. The line will be home to 9 million residents and will be built with a footprint of just 34 square kilometers. And we are designing it to provide a healthier, more sustainable quality of life. The line's communities are organized in 3 dimensions. Residents have access to all their daily needs within 5-minute walk neighborhoods. And the line's infrastructure makes it possible to travel end to end in 20 minutes with no need for cars, resulting in 0 carbon emissions. By leveraging AI technology, services are autonomous, saving you time and effort. Designed by world-leading architects, the line is 500 meters tall, 200 meters wide, 170 kilometers long, and housed within an elegant mirror glass facade. Intelligent solutions create efficiency and year-round temperate microclimate with natural ventilation. Energy and water supplies are 100% renewable. The line is designed as a series of unique communities, offering a wealth of amenities, providing equitable views and immediate access to the surrounding nature. With 40% of the world accessible within 6 hours, at the heart of the globe's key trade routes, a place for commerce and communities to thrive like nothing on Earth seen before. The line, the city that delivers new wonders for the world.
Okay, first reactions, Auza.
Yeah, so like Has anyone seen the film Elysium? So it's a film which is 10 years old. So you have this a place in space where the rich live, and the rest of the inhabitants who are in poverty live on planet Earth. To me, it seems like this NEOM will be a place where the super rich, the elite live. But the concerns I have is where 170 kilometers is long, which is like the length of it, but in terms of the depth of it, it's like, was it 200
Or
meters?
500 meters high.
Yeah, 500 meters high. Like
200 meters.
Yeah, so the width was 200 meters. That's like about 0.10 of a mile. So for me, on the outside, you would have, like, you've got the mirror, you've got the line, and then internally you're going to have homes, right? So in the center, where is that natural light going to come from? Because there is within it, like the way I see it, there'd be a lot of darkness. Because when you look at these videos, it looks amazing. You think, wow, like, can we have a world like that? I think it is achievable, but the concerns I have is, like, what is the real purpose behind it? Maybe to kind of show off the wealth and the vision and the creativity of, like, because MBS, obviously, the way he is as a person, as an individual, he loves, he's probably arguably the richest man in the world, and he has the finance, the power to kind of pull that off. When you look at Dubai, it's amazing. So it's like, now you've got to kind of do something more exclusive, like something super amazing, and that's what NEOM looks like. But to me, it just reminds me of the film Elysium, where you've got super rich living there.
What about you,
It
Rafa?
seems like he's trying to create a utopian society, isn't he? But this one is for the affluent, the rich, the super rich. Me personally, I don't really see any purpose behind it. If he was building it, say for example, in Egypt, they're doing another project where they're going to build a whole brand new city next to Cairo, which I think at the moment they call it Cairo 2.0. The reason for that is because the population has in Cairo, I think it's almost double or triple that of London, and Cairo is literally just a size and a half bigger than London itself. I mean, with a project like that, with housing 9 million people, like as I was saying, I don't really see what is the purpose behind it. Because with human beings, we don't like being stuck. Because if it's 200 meters wide, which is not really that, it's not really that wide. A time will come when the people will be like, oh, I'm starting to feel claustrophobic. Because when we want to see something, we want to see as far as our eyes can see. But if you're gonna look out your window and only see something like literally that close, how long are you gonna stay and keep looking at that for? I mean, I've been reading about the lady mentioned about the transportation. I think the trains that they use is being built in Japan, which travels roughly about 310 miles per hour. That's why it takes about 20 minutes from A to B, from one end to the other end. But then I don't really see the purpose behind it. I think it's more of a vanity project. Because I mean, if you look at Saudi Arabia, this ain't the only mega project they're doing. I think they're doing about 3 more: the Cube, the floating city, and there was
the Cube was the one that they recently
we recently
yeah. So I
But
think I had the first reaction when you mentioned claustrophobic. That was my first reaction. I feel claustrophobic in that building. But overall, I think I'm excited to see the developments of this. But then after that, I feel like this is looks something more from like a science fiction kind of movie. But I think with anything else, I also think it's also a kind of a huge, a massive, and also a very impressive PR and marketing campaign which Saudi Arabia are doing to get itself on the global platform to say, we have the space, we have the we have the resources, we have the brilliant mindsets and skills. Because if you look at the people on the working in NEOM, they've clearly been around and they've been, excelling in some of the projects that they've been on as well. But in my honest opinion, I think building the line isn't going to be impossible. They can make the infrastructure, everything else, but having it work as a functional city might be impossible. Because, like you mentioned, Rob, so you can have the train going, one end to the other in 20 minutes. You can, you can have schools, universities. We saw it in the, the update. But then, is it going to be functional enough where people can live in a vertical, vertical kind of flats or apartments, wherever, up and down, and and would that also have the social divide with people inside, what Alza mentioned, inside the building with the people outside the building? Is that going to be a social divide? The wealthy against the wealthy being the inside, and the normal people being on the outside and stuff.
I think if you look at the video, the line is literally in the middle of nowhere. There isn't like a city on its east and there's another city or a town or a village on its west. It's just barren, mountainous, dry land. And I think more if it's more of a tourist attraction where you probably do Airbnb and you want to tick it off on one of your bucket lists, then yeah, maybe. But as a functioning city that has all the social infrastructure, the travel infrastructure, I can't really see it working.
But in there, it says they're going to have schools. Sorry, in there they're going to have schools accessible. With the schools, universities, shops.
Yeah, they have
every
to.
Within 5 minutes of walking.
Yeah, if it's home for 9 million residents, then yeah, of course it would definitely have. Like the lady said on the video, it will have all the amenities that is required. So I'm sure hospital, schools, police station, fire station, etc., etc. Your main basic foundations will be there.
Yeah,
but the way sorry, go ahead.
The way I see it, it feels like I don't know if you watched that Pixar cartoon Wall-E, that little robot that picks up trash, and then he gets sent to space into that spaceship. And all the people are confined in that spaceship. Now that's what it feels like to me. It feels like you're confined and you can't go out and see planet Earth. That's what it looks like.
Because the way I see it, there's going to be sections. So certain section of it's going to be like, for the kings and the queens of the world. Another section will be like the ruling elite. So within that line, you're going to have sections. Because I can't know what you mentioned about, having Airbnb and, people going there for tourists. I could see the way I see the vision is within that line, you can have sections of it. Because when you've got the ruling elite, they would go to any part of the world, but they don't have complete freedom and privacy. So in the NEOM, you could have that. So in that certain section for the kings and the queens, you have that complete privacy. And another section you'd have like, the A-list celebrities. Then you have like, you would have these sections where certain sections cater for different
hierarchy.
So the different hierarchy. And then you probably have a section where tourists like us could go there and then just kind of take in NEOM and how they've revolutionized the city and then come back and then share our Instagram pictures and share the images with friends and family just to kind of promote what Saudi has achieved. I could see that completely happening.
I think the line would have been perfect for the moon. That's what I think. That's what it should go. Keep it on the moon. Yeah, because once you're on the moon, there's nowhere to go. You have to be isolated. You have to live your life in isolation, isn't it? You can't.
I don't see His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman paying for the line to be built on the moon and stuff. But then,
but why wouldn't you have it wider? Like I would want it because it's too confined, right?
Yeah.
Like the middle section of it, you ain't gonna get natural light. So you go there first, it's gonna be amazing. You think, wow, this is amazing. This is like I feel like I'm completely in this utopic world. And then after a few weeks gone by, you just kind of think, nah, I just want to go out because you're gonna feel kind of trapped inside. You'd really want to go out and explore everything what the world has outside. So I couldn't really see why they couldn't widen it a bit more, let the natural light flow in the middle section.
Maybe that was part of their plan with the cube, right? Because they already were thinking of the cube already beforehand. Because remember, the cube is massive as well. So I think like if
400,
they did,
400 by 400.
yeah, 400, yeah. So if they have the cube and then they have this, they'd be like, what is the purpose? Because I think um, is it Japan? They're also doing something else, another mega city. Because I know Egypt, Cairo's doing one. Robster said, and I think there's another one. I think then will be a competition between the countries where historically we had the pyramids go. You know, everyone competing against who has the biggest pyramids or the biggest statues, and now we got who's got the biggest, tallest buildings. And I think now we moved on from who's got the biggest, tallest buildings to who's got the biggest project. You know,
Yeah.
Biggest
Who
city.
has the best mega project? Isn't it?
yes, exactly.
that's
So
what-
this is probably the next phase of it, right? But so listen to this. So you're gonna have a nation within a country. So you're gonna have the line, which is classified as a nation, I think. And guess what? The citizens of the line are going to be called neomans. So rather than
Really?
Saudis.
Wow.
So yeah. So this is what I'm trying to get my head around it. So if you're in Saudi Arabia and you was to live in the line, you're going to be called neomans or neomans, I think, rather than being classified as Saudis. So does that not make you what as a second class citizen compared to the Saudis who are born or have inherently the values from the Saudi kind of bloodline? So I don't know.
Yeah, this
Um,
is just creating divisions, like kind of
you create
yeah,
social
creating
divisions, right? So
yeah.
and the other thing, so I think part of the other thing I don't think we haven't touched base on yet is that. So I reckon so all of this stuff is to so with the whole petrol dollar issue that we're currently going on, at the moment, as we know, I reckon Saudi is probably sending a message to its international, level, and everyone's saying, look at us, and this is what we're looking to do, and this is what we're going to do as a post-oil economy. So we're building the infrastructure, knowing for the fact that post-oil, you can, will be probably depleted with oil or wherever that the state has, and it won't be dependent on oil. There'll be other areas where the economy will grow, such as like this is one of the initiatives as well.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because
it's just fascinating.
even when you mentioned about post oil, because they could go another 500 years, right, producing oil.
Yeah.
So this is Saudi Arabia, where they've got all the oil in the world. So, but you could see his vision because he wants to take Saudi in a completely new direction and kind of open up the doors to the West. And these projects will be the gateways for them.
Yeah, and I think this will. I think the whole 2020 vision is to create new job opportunities within Saudi, make it feel like there is tourists can go there, people who want to go there from abroad to work. There's, at the moment they can try and develop a lot of industries and stuff, isn't it? So I think that's what they're trying to get to, is to build itself. We got no more initiatives and stuff going on, and it's open to everyone to come rather than limited to just a selected few.
Yeah, because the way I see it is, if you look at Dubai, right? So within Dubai, you've got like the Palm Islands, right? It's like everyone and anyone could go and access that Palm Island. So to me, it seems like this NEOM project is actually, we want to build something which is like it would completely blow your mind, but then it's restricted to only the very few who could afford to be in it. So there's no access to the general public as you would experience in Dubai.
Yeah. So I think the line is like Dubai on steroids, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So
no, I think even once it's built, I don't think it will come as close to Dubai. Once you go into Dubai, there's so much to do, and there's so much space, and there's so much to see, and you got beach, you got natural beaches, then you've got the palm, you've got you got so much to do because in such open space. Now I think with the line, if he was to say, oh, this will be the new future financial district, where finance, technology, etc., was to move into that building, then maybe But if it's going to be a residential, which they're targeting, then I really can't see people lasting there for long.
Yeah.
But I think your point there is because with Dubai, this whole project is like, it's not Dubai. They didn't want the vision of Dubai, because if they wanted the vision of Dubai, they could have done what they've done in Dubai. He wanted to build an exclusive society. That's what NEOM is about, giving exclusivity to certain individuals who could afford to be there. So if you want Dubai, you go Dubai. He doesn't want to build Dubai in Saudi. His vision is like, you've got Dubai here. He wants Saudi to be up there with his vision. So in terms of certain groups and individuals, that's what he's, those are the sort of clientele that he wants, and not just everyone and anyone, as you will see in Dubai.
Yeah, and I think so. In Saudi Arabia, this isn't one of the first mega projects that they announced. I think so King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the former king of Saudi Arabia, he announced a mega project back in 2005, and he announced a number of mega projects, but only one was launched, and I think with the promise of having city. I think it was called King Abdullah Economic City, where they wanted to build shopping malls and everything else. But then he ended up being just the hub for business offices and stuff as well. So it wasn't really well off in terms of how they did it. It wasn't really, they weren't able to develop it in terms of the vision that they had at the time. So hopefully they can learn from their mistakes from this one and try and figure out what can they do from lessons learned from previously and take that into account. But one of the things I want to probably now quickly go into is around, all right, the question everyone has is, this was announced back in 2021. Have they shared any updates and stuff? So I think it's important to see what the progress that they've been making, just to see, are they on track or not. So let me go through the first update, which they shared back in January 23 in terms of the progress overall.
NEOM is real. The future of work, living, and sustainability is coming to life. The master plan is being realized more every day. A project unique in scale, already being built in a place with 95% of land protected for nature, where rewilding is in motion, bringing animals back to their natural habitat. Our luxury island destination, Sindala, has launched, as has Trojena, our mountain destination, The Line, our flagship city, and our Center for Advanced Industries, Oxygen. Things are changing fast. In 2022, we launched companies including Tonimus, our world-leading tech and digital enterprise, and Enoa, responsible for managing NEOM's first-class sustainable energy and water systems, featuring the world's largest green hydrogen production plant. This progressive stance is why we invested $175 million in Volocopter, the next generation of transport. It's why some 200,000 people are expected to attend the captivating exhibitions for The Line. It's why athletes from 25 countries participated in the NEOM Beach Games. And it's why the planet's fastest growing lifestyle brand, Ennismore, has become the first hotel partner for Trojena. Already, Saudia offers direct flights from NEOM to London and Dubai. Our media sector has supported 25 productions in 18 months, working with names such as the BBC, Apple TV, and NBC. NEOM has partnered with McLaren to drive innovation and talent development in electric motorsport. We joined Ocean X to discover and protect the secrets hidden at the bottom of the Red Sea. With the Asian Football Confederation, we launched the Shahab Community Program to develop the next generation of Saudi footballing talent. Trojena has been awarded the Asian Winter Games in 2029, and there is so much more to come. We can elevate life because we have a blank canvas. This is not business as usual. This is the new future. This is NEOM. Visit neom.com.
Well, let me quickly show you a quick clip of the work. Sorry, I had to show that one just to show you the other one wasn't a CGI because it looked a bit CGI to me, but mind blown. I think I don't know. I feel excited about it.
Yeah, same here,
Actually-
definitely.
That just seems amazing, right? The work, the work's like, you know, there's so much work going on and so quickly as well.
Yeah,
Yeah. But in terms of, I can't see them pulling it off in 8 years, maybe 2050.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah,
I
released.
don't know. I have a different opinion. I think they can pull it off, but they may have to sacrifice some of it. So I think it goes back to what you said before. They could probably do partial of it, and I think they will roll it out once it's partially done, the whole line.
Yeah.
Because like to get that length of the line done, I don't think 170 kilometers. Like if you break it down, we're in 2023 now. 7 years time, 2030. So for 170 kilometers, how many like kilometers do they need to do before
20,
7 years?
24, 20, just over 24 miles a year.
24 miles a year.
Yeah. So 24. Yeah. Times 7.
So imagine.
So for
Yeah.
them to complete 24 miles in a year, they have to have all the equipment ready. 2, it has to be working around the clock, 24 hours a day, no time to breathe.
Yeah.
That's then they may be possible to pull off a skeleton structure of the NEOM, but not an actual functioning city.
Yeah, because
something like that
24.
is-
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
24 miles in a year is, you know, I mean, one of the best builders on the planet are the Chinese. When they want to build a hospital, they'll do it within 10 days. You know, during the COVID period, that's what they built, a fully functional hospital within 10 days. I think even the Chinese will probably look at it with, you know, with doubt that it will be fully functional city within 7 years.
But we progressed like from many decades ago. So everything used to be brick and mortar, right? So we went from brick and mortar to everything being modular. You know, look at London, how they built the towers. You know, the new builds, the new flats. So they build the foundation. With the foundation, then they build the middle pillar, where the lifts are, and that's where they run all the pipes and all the electric stuff. And then on top of each floor, they just put all the floors on, and then modular of the windows, and everything else around it.
That's one building takes roughly about 6 months. That's just one building.
That's right.
You're building 172 kilometers is how many miles? About 120 miles, I believe. It's about 100, just around about 120 miles.
Yeah.
That's equivalent to from London to Leicester?
Birmingham. So it's about 112 miles. Just
yeah. So it's from London to Birmingham. Now the Crossrail, how long did that take? That took I think about 11 years, I believe. And that's just a train.
I think that's true. I think with the Crossrail, they also have other disadvantages, on existing land. They need to navigate away from different,
Not like a blank
houses.
canvas.
So I think this one's like a blank canvas-ish. So they can literally, like, we saw them digging the thing to make the foundation and everything. I don't know. I'm a bit optimistic.
I'm not optimistic at all. I personally think it won't actually happen. It'd be one of those. You were talking about King Fahad's King Abdulaziz, the previous king.
Yeah.
His project. I remember his project back in 2005, where he was talking about he wanted to build a city a mega city that will have everything on God's green earth in that little city, and I was actually cost of $500 billion. And
you know how much the cost of this is?
I was just looking up $500 billion, right? They're estimating at the minute.
$500 billion.
$500 billion, 500 billion. Yeah, 500 billion. Yeah, that is a lot. But then you think about it, that is a lot for this one project. How many projects did they actually talk about in the video?
Yeah, I think they were talking about 4.
Yeah, 4 other projects which they're talking about, and I'm sure they're also going to be costly as well. And then what I can't get my head around is the logistics around getting the materials needed for the works to be done.
The technology is there technology there to actually build the internals. With they were talking about the video that I saw earlier, not on here. They were talking about the train facilities, and they were doing the magnetic track, which is similar to the bullet in Japan.
The linear line.
Yeah, and that I don't know, that will take years. Just to put down the train tracks and building the tube and the structure, which will be on the ground floor, right at the basement of the buildings. That will take years and years in itself just to create that. Then you're going to build more on top. I really can't see it. I think, like I was saying, they probably build about 5 kilometers and just leave it
and then stop, and then get exhausted.
Probably run out of money.
Well, I don't think money is the issue on this one. I think probably resourcing, logistical nightmare, structural design nightmare, materials nightmare. They need to be resilient. What if there's another pandemic that hits and it stops, materials being transported across overseas and stuff?
Because the way I see it is like the Crown Prince said, I want something spectacular that is going to blow people's mind, and then he's got the best architect, the best designers. They kind of produced this, and he said, "Let's do it. Let's get it done." And everyone's too scared to say, "Actually, you know what? Maybe we can't do it. Maybe it's impossible."
Maybe it's a 20, 30 year project.
Like, he wants to leave a legacy behind. He wants to leave a legacy. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, he wants to leave a legacy, and he wants to leave a legacy where people naturally assume that it's something created and done by the West.
Yeah,
not a country that's been, just recently has been developing and introducing Western cultures and Western norms and Western society and into their own societies, their progress. So for something like Saudi Arabia, we get surprised when they hold boxing there.
I think the crazy part is, like, if it's $500 billion they're going to spend on this project, can you not wipe out the poverty in Africa with that sort of money, right?
Yeah.
It's just
I think you're right, because there's been a lot of criticism.
I can't get my head around.
There's been some criticisms in the media on this. So, but before we go into that, I think these are some latest pictures of the developments of the line. You can see the ridges being built on the sides, and the works taking place. Looks like it's right near the sea bit. So I don't know which part they're starting off, whether it's the northwest or the west, like near the ocean.
Yeah.
And look at that. So I think since they've announced it,
I mean, you're looking at. I mean, you said earlier, I can't remember who said it, where it's barren land and it's easier to work with.
Yeah.
When you compare it to a Crossrail, but then the Qatar World Cup wasn't built on barren land as well. And that took how many years back? 12 years, 15 years. When they won it back in 2000 and was it 2005 14 when they won the actual World Cup, hosting the World Cup. So you're looking at roughly about 10 years, the Qatar World Cup, and they built all the 5, 6, 7 stadiums, the infrastructure, the buildings, etc., trains on barren land as well. So
Yeah. But it could be also to do with their budgeting, isn't it? They probably thought we had this amount of budget in, we got time, so they spread it across.
No, but they spent half of what the NEOM is going to cost. Remember, they spent $220 billion.
Yeah.
And that project lasted for, I think, 10, 11 years. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was about 12 years. And that was just building stadiums and infrastructure.
Yeah, that was like, was it 12 or 15 stadiums and a bit of infrastructure? And this is what you're saying here is you're going to build an entire
ecosystem.
The ecosystem, a whole society. You're literally building a small nation from the sands, from the sands of the desert.
Yeah.
What you would say from scratch, isn't it? That's what you're doing if you're going to occupy it with 9 million residents. So I really can't.
I think the guy who okayed it when he said, "I want this grand vision, I want it by Monday morning 9 o'clock." Drop your grand vision. The guy who dropped that grand vision, God knows where he is. He's probably gonna hide it because there's gonna come a point where they can't lay out that vision. Yeah. I feel.
I don't know. These images you see here are some marketing media images that you probably see of the line. So I don't know.
I mean, even then, if you look at the thumbnail there on the top left-hand corner, it looks like a shopping center, doesn't it? To me, it feels very, very claustrophobic. The top left-hand one.
Yeah, so Stratford Westfield.
Yeah, it looks like Stratford Westfield. Yeah, but a bigger version and a nicer version.
To me, it seems like Hollywood. The next mind-blowing Hollywood sci-fi film. This is how it's going to look. And that guy who made that design, he said, "You know what? I'll take those images, and then this is how I want it to look." Because that's what it is, right? If you look at sci-fi movies, this is exactly what it is. You look at these images, this city that they're living in. Like there's that Tom Cruise film called, was it Oblivion or?
Oblivion, yeah.
Like that was amazing. Where that Tom Cruise lived in that house, like in some part of this isolated world that he was in. I think, wow, like these are the sort of vision that they're putting across.
I think it looks like this looks like a city that you would build in the midst of on the aftermath of an apocalypse, where you've had nuclear war, the whole world is barren, and they've built a city where they can survive and live a normal life. That's what it looks like to me. One of those futuristic films that are like 50, 60, 80, 100 years ahead of us.
And it makes sense, right, to have that linear line and not to have it too wide to protect any radiation leaking in.
Yeah, it looks like one of those episodes from Black Mirror, Netflix. So, and I think, like, despite the whole, in terms of what it can do, and I think there's obviously going to be some criticism around the development of this, and I think as a pointed one fact around, with the money, 500 billion that they're spending on this, could they not use this money to, create
poverty in Africa?
Poverty, remove inequality, and even the climate change, focus around some of that stuff. But I think there's been a lot of criticisms around this as well, and I think with me, one of the things that I'm probably thinking about more and more is around what kind of technology are they going to use within the line, right? So is this technology going to monitor everything you do? From the moment you wake up, what you watch, how you brush your teeth, what brand do you use, where you're going, is there, and also the currency. What currency are they going to use within the line? Is it going to be one of those digital currencies which you can only use within there, so they can also track and monitor your spend within this kind of mega city as well? And then what if they don't like what you're doing? They can probably use the technology to navigate where you are and stuff. But your privacy is probably going to be you probably need to give up your privacy probably if you're living in here,
No, I personally, I don't think that would happen, because imagine if I was told, oh, you can live there, bring your family, live there forever, and then, everything I do is tracked all the time, from waking up, brushing my teeth, where I'm going, using digital. I mean, digital currency is the future anyway, so that is nothing new to us. Just pull out your card, tap, and that's it. We've paid for something. But when it comes to privacy, people are really, really quite. That's something that would
Safeguarded.
Yeah, if there is no safeguard to my privacy, then I'm not going with my family. That's
But you might look at the privacy and think, oh, I won't have any privacy in there. But in terms of security, you've got like you're kind of compensating your privacy for your security, because once you're in that zone, once you're in that line, that's it. You're pretty much untouchable from the outside world. So this could be a good safe haven, right? So everyone who's dodging their tax, all of dodging taxis, these drug cartels and stuff, with all like Pablo Escobar, he would have been one of the probably the first customers in the NEOM city. That's it. Once he's in there, he has all the protection.
Exactly. So I think that one. I think the next question is like, what if they put a requirement in order for you to live there?
It depends on the requirement, isn't it?
What if they say, right, you must have X, Y, Z, X amount of money or X whatever in order for you to live there?
No. I mean, that's same for everywhere else, isn't it? If I want to migrate to another country, I have to have a certain degree, I have to have certain experience, I have to see if my skills are needed in that market, in that country. Same as NEOM, it will be the same. It's like, what can you give? What can you provide that will help NEOM in the long term? So if I say, I'm a financial whiz kid and I've been working for JP Morgan's, and from there I went to this other super bank, then of course they need me. So I'll move in. They'll, of course, they'll have a requirement. They won't just bring in anyone and everyone, and just make it like pick a name out of a hat, regardless of your status, your financial status. So to get there, you definitely need it to have some type of
it'd be more for billionaires, multimillionaires. Like you've got to have an A-list celebrity, the likes of Ronaldo's, Lionel Messi. It would be for the super rich, the elite. It won't be like a banker, for example, who's on a 15-20 million pound income and bonus. I don't think it'd be for those individuals. Maybe certain section of it, maybe. I could see there being sections, and then within the sections you'll have workers as well.
So I think that's what my thought process is as well. So within the line, it'll be all sectioned out. You'll have one area for low socioeconomic people, and then you will progress up until the point where you have the probably
like
like a high rank, high society.
I can't remember the name of the film. Snowpiercer with
the train.
The train one, where each carriage had a certain member of certain type of societies, and right at the end, the last 3 or 4 cabins was the really poor, the really destitute, the really downtrodden in society. That's where they lived, and as you went higher up into the carriages, you came to the super elite, but I can't see that happening as well. I think one is, I don't think many people around the world, especially the Western world, will move in there. I mean, this is Saudi Arabia. You're living in a mega city on barren land. That's not really that attractive. Maybe 6 months to about a year, if it's work related, then But if you're telling me I have to live here and then, get married and have kids, and my kids will get married in the NEOM, and they will have kids, and I'll be a granddad in the NEOM, I really can't see it. I really can't see it.
I can't see that happening. I could see like Lewis Hamilton going there for like a week just to experience it. But I think it's one of those things. Once you go to experience it once, I don't think you'd want to come back.
It's like in Dubai, the Palm. When they built the Palm, you heard all these famous sports athletes, celebrities. They all bought the houses out. And how many times did they go there? they probably go there once every few years.
Yeah,
You know,
probably a section of
but
it will be Airbnb, isn't it?
yeah, and yeah, section of it, and that's why I think is like the celebrities they would want to own, they'll want to own something there. You know, come in probably, you know, every couple of years, come for about a week or two, maybe, you know, or if they want privacy where they just want to, you know, run away from the world and just go into the NEOM, you know, because that's what I can see. But I really can't see a fully functional.
Yeah,
resident.
because the thing is, if you was to work in there, you have to live in there because there's no way
yeah.
from when you look at the line there is anything within the vicinity or the proximity of the line where you have local communities around
Yeah.
that people can come from the outside in. So, and I'm not quite sure how many entry or exit points to have in the line. I don't know whether they'll have one line at the front, one line at the back, or
I
like a
mean, like,
door exit.
what are you gonna do during your free time? You know, say the weekends come. What do you do? Do you just go to the roof and sit in the?
The way I see it is in terms of going into the line, you'll have those. That video showed those helicopters that they've developed and built.
Yeah.
So those would kind of drop you. They'll drop you in a certain section
Like a
that you're supposed
helipad
to
or
be in.
something.
Yeah, so they'll
But
drop
also,
you in there. But I think
Yeah.
Robstar was saying, what would you do there? I think you do everything there. So within that closed circuit, everything that super like an elite would want to do, you've got everything there. So you
go
could
to a
go there. So
football
like,
match if you want to, you know.
yeah.
No, but
So if
being one of the
instead of
fun
going
things
from
about
Mayfair, instead of going from Mayfair to Knightsbridge, and then go in another part of London to do something else, you just do everything in that zone, in that area. So maybe that would appeal to them.
No, but if you're rich or you're wealthy, super elite, you know, one thing that you ask all of them is, what's the one thing that you love doing? Is, oh, I love traveling the world. You know, whether it's for business deals, whether it's family, whether it's for tourism, etc., etc. Whatever reason is, they love traveling the world, and I can't see a really rich person just stuck in. You're literally stuck in that city, aren't you?
But then
You know,
for
and
someone,
once you go, you know, once
for
you jump on the
someone
plane, no, but
yeah.
let's say you want to go out of the NEOM. Where are you gonna go? Jeddah, Riyadh?
No, but then
if I'm
if
rich,
you
why would I go there?
but if you've got a weekend, right? In that weekend, you want to go golfing, you want to go, I don't know, what do the super rich do, right? Like go golfing, you know, go to the casino,
Take your car for a
you
spin.
know, go to like a
Yeah,
But they
gentleman's
won't have
club.
no cars in here. They won't have no
Yeah.
cars in here.
Like go to a gentleman's club. So you get to do all of that within that space. So in terms of time wise, you're not spending hours in a traffic jam. You could be, you know, you finish golfing, you go to a like really fancy restaurant, which is just across the road now, like on the other side. You've done that. Then after that, what you want to do? You want to go to a bar. You want to go clubbing. You know, all of that is there. So
I
time
think
wise,
if you're single, then maybe it's a good idea. But if you're a family man and you've got a few kids, wife, I don't really think you can live there for the rest of your life.
So the question is, or let's ask the question. So would you live there or just go there for holidays? So I'll probably go there for a holiday.
Yeah, I'll go for a holiday.
I'd probably live for 3 months, and then if I I would want to live there, experience that lifestyle, and then I'd probably, you know, end up probably going all insane in the head, and then you know,
and plus, did you not see the video
out.
that they also got an airport right next to the facility?
Yeah.
So they're already thinking about how do they get people from the airport into the line as well. So, I think.
I think, don't get me wrong, I think they've got everything written down to the T. How people are going to come, how people are going to go, if there's a fire, etc., etc. They've got everything written down. The question is, one is, do they have the technology to run the whole city? Which I don't think they have, because some haven't been invented. Do they have the residents who are willing to move in? I don't think so. Do they have the materials? I don't think so. You know, there's going to be a lot of hindrance. I think to say that that will be completed by 2030, that was definitely driven by ego. MBS's ego. It was driven to say 2030. If he was to say 2050, 50, then, and that's what, about 27 years time? Then I'll
I
probably
think
say,
I think every 6 months we should come back and check out how they're progressing.
yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah, it'd probably be same as the first picture, right? With the line a bit longer in the desert,
Yeah, but
with,
longer,
with
yeah, in the
more
desert.
trucks and stuff.
so yeah. Okay, so I think it sounds like there's a bit of a trade-off, and I think it's much more of a broader debate about, you know, is the line going to be done on time or not? Are they also gonna run out of money and stuff? And then once it's already done, what is your lifestyle going to be? Is the going to be sustainable? And you know, if you live there, you're just gonna be bored as well. I think there's a lot of questions that probably still remain to be answered. And I think overall, I think this is a very ambitious mega project. And I think there's a lot of mixed feelings between the three of us. You know, I think this is going to be definitely Dubai on steroids and stuff. So, but we're excited to see what's going to come out of this. So, I think with that, I think with episode 3, thank you all for listening. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, like and subscribe to us on YouTube, and we're also on Spotify, on Apple Music as well. And we look forward to catching up with you all in the next episode. Take care. Bye.
Good night.